The Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICCLending.com. For real estate service, please go to ICCLending.com.
3, 2, 1.
Every human came to earth with a gift, and they must discover that gift and refine that gift for them to be fulfilled.
The prerequisite for spending time with any person is that they nourish and inspire you. They feed your flame.
Yo, hey man, how you work this radio?
You're not listening to the Tie and Hoodie Show.
Keep it locked.
Owning a home and paying it off is one of the data points of an everyday millionaire.
Home sales across the U.S. are on the rise as buyers take advantage of record low mortgage rates.
Good morning. Now let's get back to the Tie and Hoodie Show.
Good morning. It's the world famous Tie and Hoodie Show right here on 93.5 K-Day each and every Sunday morning, 6:30 a.m. The crack of sunrise till 7 a.m. I'm your host, Trevon Smith, with my main man, Andrew and Jesse Coba. How you doing today?
I'm doing good today. I'm doing good. How are you today, Trevon?
I'm good. It's another week, another great guest. It's always a blessing for us to, talk to our K-Day listeners and our audience. And they can see everything via YouTube. If you jump in and out parts of these shows, but this is all informative information you want to spread out through the community that, helps the community.
Yeah, we have been going on now. This is our episode number 31. So it's been a while. We've been going on for a little bit, and we're getting a lot of great response from a lot of people around the world. I mean, just basically calling saying, man, your show is giving me some positive impacts in my life, and that's what this show is all about. Personal development, bringing in information that will help people change their lives one way or the other. So I'm really glad that we're part of this and we keep it going.
And that's what we're here for. I can't wait to talk to today's guest. I was just talking to the guest, Mr. I'm gonna give him an introduction. He's an expert in financial consultation, a man that can show you how to help you, which he educated me about life insurance and in different ways you could turn your life insurance into some form of assets. And I can't wait to talk to him today. He's right here with us, Mr. Andrei Hall. How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you guys doing?
Doing great. It's always a good thing talking to you. Like I told Andrew when we talked a little earlier before you jumped on, I went to your office, the beautiful fish tank down in the aquarium of the Pacific down there. So I like that office. I think I'm gonna need the job over there, man.
Sounds good. Come on over.
Anyway, I'm not gonna take too much time up today. Just like I said, we talked a little bit before. My grandfather, he's 86, and I'm trying to tell him. Well, you know what? Let's skip that part. How about you give us a little bit of information about yourself? Look, I'm trying to be.
You're jumping the gun already. Jumping the gun already.
I'm jumping the gun. For the people that missed the show the very first time, it's a wealth of information coming. It's Mr. Andrei Hall. How about you give a little bit of background about yourself and what you do? If I didn't explain it to the people right.
Okay. Again, as you said, my name is Andrei Hall. I have a wealth management firm in Irvine, California. Basically, I work with people, small business owners, retirees, professionals who are too busy with their own personal lives to take care of the things that, quite frankly, are the most important things, themselves and their families, because they're so busy driving, whether it's their own business or working someplace as a W-2 employee, they're too busy driving the day-to-day versus thinking about themselves. Now, basically, I work with people that need to understand, how do I make sure in the end, when the time comes, I have enough money to retire and I can retire without worry. And that's what I do with my clients. I make sure when they retire, they don't have to worry, and we minimize taxes along the way and in retirement. Basically, we do money management, we do comprehensive financial planning, we do insurance, we do long-term care, and we help with the estate planning. that is basically what we do in a nutshell. And I'm gonna leave it there because we don't have a lot of time today, so I'm gonna stop there.
No, no, you're fine. And there's so much knowledge that you can share with people, because it's a subject matter that we are as a community, or even as a people. When I say community, it has nothing to do with color or anything. You know, a certain demographics as far as low income, I'll say, or even the bottom of the middle income. They don't like to talk about these kind of things, but it's something that's needed. I recently had a friend, and it's a super sad situation where the mom took the grandkids over to the aunt's house, and then the aunt was having a swimming party. But anyway, so she forgot the bathing suit, so she was going to Walmart. And the kids walked her out to her car, and as she was pulling out, somebody ran a stoplight and killed her. She had her life insurance, but and it's once again, it's an unfortunate situation, and I hate to bring it up, you know, but it's something that you're aware of and you help people out. You have to be ready for these moments, correct?
That is absolutely correct. I mean, the pandemic has really brought it to life, because we don't know. We all want to be here as long as we can, but none of us can predict exactly when we won't be here any longer. So we have to be prepared.
Yeah. I mean, it's important to note that this is a fact that we all know. Everybody, I mean, one thing that's guaranteed in life is everybody's going to have their time and it's ready for you to go. Everybody's going to pass on at some point. But what you are saying here, and one thing that I think I want to make it personal here, is that I want to talk about life insurance. I want to talk about life insurance because it's something that middle class and minorities don't really pay a lot of attention to, or they don't have enough information about, you know, because I'm here now thinking about my kids and say, okay, when it's time for me to go, I don't want my wife or my kids to be worried about financial situations. I want them to be protected. Can you give us a brief intro on somebody who's making $20 an hour, $30 an hour? You know, they're thinking, what is life insurance and why should I be putting money away, you know, in case something happens to me?
Well, first of all, we all need money to take care of final expenses. Okay. You do see all these GoFundMe's out there, unfortunately, and that's usually because the family doesn't have the wherewithal to take care of the final expenses. To be able to take care of final expenses. You want to be able to take care of any debt that's out there, child care expenses, mortgage. If you got a mortgage and there's two of you working and one of you passes away, guess what? That mortgage still has to be paid. It doesn't become half of what it was. It's still the whole mortgage. So money that's going to be needed for that. You got kids that are in school or college or whatever, and you got education expenses. You need a general emergency fund for that spouse that's left. Estate taxes, children, or someone who relies on the money coming from that individual. It could be a older parent or whoever. Okay, and if you leave first before that older parent, what happens to that older parent? So you need cash flow. You need money coming in if something happens to you.
And life insurance is a good avenue, you're saying, to make that happen, right? You can plan it with life insurance.
You can plan it with life insurance. And the interesting thing that was just in the news, Bill Gates and his wife, Melinda Gates, getting a divorce. One of the number one things they have to do is to figure out how they're going to handle the life insurance. They have billions in life insurance. You want to know why? Because it's pennies on the dollar.
Okay.
Warren Buffett, the third or fourth richest man in the world, has billions in life insurance because it's pennies on the dollar. Now, they're going to donate most of that to charity, but again, they have life insurance, even though they're worth billions.
So talking about me here right now, I have a 5-year-old son and I have a 9-year-old son. What kind of life insurance should I be looking into for my family?
Well, first of all, we should always be looking into what's called permanent life insurance. There's term life insurance, which could be for 20 or 30 years. But if you're a 30-year-old person and you have a 20-year policy, that means at 50, you no longer have life insurance. Permanent life insurance, which is whole life, universal, and variable, will last a lifetime. And why is that important? Because you don't want to be getting life insurance later on in life if you can avoid it, unless you don't have it and you don't have a choice right now, because things happen. You develop ailments, etc. And so when you develop those ailments, sometimes it makes you uninsurable or it costs a lot more. The other thing, you do term though, if you have no other choice and it's the cheapest and you cannot afford permanent insurance. Term insurance for, in your situation as an example, you got a 20-year term, at least your kids will hopefully be out of college if something were to happen to you, and it would supplement your wife in taking care of the kids.
So at 45 years old, sorry, Trevon, I just want to get down, at 45 years old today, somebody's listening and saying, hey, I'm 45 or I'm 46, I'm 47, and I have a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old at home. What should they do to cover themselves? Are you saying they should get a whole life or a term life insurance?
I am saying you always want permanent, which is whole life, universal, or variable. Those are permanent type of insurances. You always want that, but they do cost more than term. So, so if you cannot afford one of the permanent type of insurances, go with the term so that you at least protect your family for a period of time where the kids are younger.
Mr. Hall, I'm gonna go ahead and say, don't give Andrew no more information. He's trying to get a personal consultation right now. We gotta charge him. But no, I'm just playing with him. So I remember, being at your office, and I overheard you on the phone a little bit. You were talking about, I believe you were consulting someone as far as business partners. How can you explain a little bit about business partners, getting insurance, and how that works?
Okay, let's say you got 3 business partners and they're equal partners in a business. One of them passes away. If one of them, excuse me, if one of them passes away, you got to replace that person if they have a key function that the other 2 cannot do. And people take out policies on each other in a business. And basically, if something happens to one of those partners, they have the money to go out and hire that expertise. That is the way business policies work on partners inside of a business.
Okay. I've kind of seen a little bit of that on I think on the ID channel, where you see them, one of the partners killed the other partner because of the life insurances or whatnot. Not to bring it up like that, but that's kind of how it just brings back a little bit of refreshing information. Like, oh, that's why he did that. Because I didn't understand why he killed his partner, his business partner, because he had life insurance. Because me being ignorant to this situation about life insurance, like a lot of people are, maybe is not as ignorant as I am as far as to it, but I thought it was only like in relationship to a family, but you can have insurance with businesses and partnerships as well.
Yes, you can. Normally it's family, obviously.
Yeah.
At the same time, you can, business partners can have insurance on each other to protect them in case one of the partners dies.
Okay.
So if it's a situation where you have a family, people are listening right now and say, okay, the husband works full-time, wife stays home with the kids, right? Wife doesn't work. Should there be a reason why you can have insurance on the wife? Because we've been talking about the income provider being insured in case anything happens. What about the homemaker who actually does as much equal or even more work as a mom or stay-home mom? Don't they need life insurance as well?
Absolutely. Just think of how much you would have to pay out on a monthly basis if you brought in someone to cook, clean, take care of the kids. Who's going to do all that if the remaining spouse is out working? So someone, you do need help. That remaining spouse needs help. And we see it all the time. We see it in the movies. A spouse dies, the remaining spouse is out working, has very little time to spend with the kids, do the things that need to be done at home. That's one of the issues, especially for us in the lower middle income area, for quite frankly, majority of our population, is that they don't have the time to spend with the kids when one of the spouse leaves, dies or whatever. And therefore, that's where the issues come in with the kids not growing up the way and with the support that they need.
Mr. Hall, before we go any further, can you go ahead and give the people that may be listening right here on YouTube or K-Day, you can go ahead and give them your information, such as a number or website, if they have any information or you know, they need a consultation as far as, you know, going to the next step and getting life insurance or whatnot.
Yes, again, my name is Andrei Hall. I want to keep repeating that. My phone number is 949-222-6401. Again, 949-222-6401. My website is hwmg-lpl.com. Again, hwmg-lpl.com.
Well, let me jump in again. I mean, I'm coming up with scenarios because I'm in the mortgage business. I've seen a lot of people, they're getting a divorce, so they have to refinance the house, or somebody died who was on the loan and then they have to refinance the house. Or, I mean, somebody in a case that just happened not too long ago, the breadwinner had a terminal condition, a cancer, and they've been given 4 months to live. You know, I'm just going back to how life insurance, how important it is in situations like that.
Well, you just said it. It's extremely important, because what happens to the mortgage if the breadwinner or half of the income from the family from that person that's ill, dying, or died, what happens to that mortgage? Because either way, the mortgage is still going to have to be paid. Mm-hmm. So if in fact there's half the income coming in or no income, if that person was the only brought in all the income for the family, then obviously the family is destitute. Mm-hmm. That is what life insurance is designed to do, is replace dollars that are no longer going to be coming in, or to help if in fact a family is going to have expenses in the future, i.e. education, etc.
I remember, you know, we were talking about briefly, and that's something that besides me knowing about the business partners, like you've been educating me each and every time, but I remember we were talking specifically about putting insurance on a child at a very early age, and then using some of that money that you created through, I'm not sure if the correct word is equity or whatnot, and help and using that for college. Can you educate some of our listeners about that?
Yes, basically insurance, this is only with permanent policies.
Okay.
Term policies do not build up any dollars. The permanent policies do, which are whole life, universal, and variable. They build up dollars. As an example, my son, who's 17, he hit 18 last week. Okay. Knucklehead. But basically, I took out a policy on him at 6 months old. Okay. And it was $300 a month. I have right now probably in the neighborhood of about $40,000 a year, $40,000 to $50,000 a year, that for college for the next 5 years. I know he won't get out in 4 years. That is, if he goes to college, he won't get out in 4 years. So I'm planning on a 5-year term for college. Okay. Basically, that's from the cash buildup inside the policy. There are different ways to save for college. Everyone knows about 529, but insurance is another way. It's not only that cash buildup in the insurance policy comes out tax-free. So it comes out tax-free, and it can be used for education expenses. It can be used for retirement expenses in retirement. It can be used for or any number of things. If there's an illness in the family,
emergencies,
and you have no other vehicle where dollars are available, it can be used a number of different ways.
So I want to piggyback on that real quick. So my little boy who's 5 now, you're saying I can get a whole life policy on my kid, right? And then when 13, 14, 15 years from now, when he's ready to go to college, that will have built up some cash value. And instead of me worrying about a college plan that has tax ramifications, I can use life insurance as a vehicle to fund my college education for my children down the road. That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yes, you can. And basically because obviously like anything else, when you're putting money into an insurance policy, it depends on how much cash is going to build up, depends on how much you're putting in. No different than any other kind of savings vehicle. But let's say the money going into an insurance policy, like I said, it goes in, and when you take it out, it's tax-free. Let's say you just put it into a savings account or another investment vehicle. When it goes in and you have gain, you pay taxes on that gain each year. Don't pay any taxes on the gains or when it comes out in an insurance policy.
K-Day listeners, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to the financial expert consultationist, Mr. Andrei Hall. Please go check him out. This is stuff that I know it's not a friendly conversation. Like I told Mr. Hall before, Andrew, I just seen my grandfather yesterday. I started to know him. I mean, he's very coherent and everything, but I can see he's slowing down. And I didn't know how to really talk to him about certain things. I was like, hey, just asking. I was like, hey, Papa, I call him Papa, like, you got everything, taken care of, right? If you need some help, I have some people you could talk to or whatnot. And he was real open to it. So we have to have these conversations in our family and our community. Don't do no GoFundMe for me. If I don't got my stuff together, then it's not meant to be. Don't be a person depending on GoFundMes. Plan your future out for you and your kids, your spouse. And that's why you need to give a call to this brother right here, Mr. Andrei Hall. Go ahead and give me your information. We still got time, but I want to make sure people know the importance to reach out to you and have this conversation with you.
Okay. And again, I'm going to repeat my phone number, which is 949-222-6401. Once again, 949-222-6401. And my website, which obviously has all my information, hwmg-lpl.com. Again, hwmg-lpl.com. And a couple of things I want everyone to remember about life insurance, okay? You buy life insurance to protect the family in case of death, whether it's expected or unexpected, okay? And when I say expected, sometimes we get notice when someone, we have, they may be given a year to live or 2 years to live, but not get life insurance then. You gotta get it ahead of time. No insurance company is going to give life insurance to someone that's terminal. So life insurance really feels the financial loss created by someone that dies. And it's for insurance companies, it's a promise to pay beneficiaries. So important. And it's tax-free. And again, there are typically two types of needs at death: immediate cash needs to take care of expenses all around that death, and then income needs ongoing. And it is life insurance, as I've been saying, is a solution to a variety of financial planning needs, such as retirement, estate planning, business, and charitable giving. But mostly, it's so important for the families, okay? I've seen too many families whose lifestyle have changed completely because they didn't have the wherewithal to continue after the breadwinner, or if just one of the spouses, even if there were two breadwinners, one of them died.
And that can be and unfortunately we see it later than sooner, where we're like, it takes a hit to a family. If a lot of people don't understand how valuable the partnership is in the family, and then if one of them goes, it takes a hit. And that's why, we're having this conversation today, because like I said, it's something we all know, we've talked about. Everybody's not comfortable talking about this stuff. Mr. Hall, you did a great job of explaining it. I know.
I want to add one other thing. Older folks, let's say a couple at 80 years old, one of them dies. They're both getting Social Security. That spouse that's left only has half the income that they were living on together as a couple. Expenses are not going to drop in half. They may drop some, but they're not going to drop in half. That's why it's so important to have permanent insurance, because it's forever, whereas term would have expired. And that person that's left with only half the income, their lifestyle really changes.
I don't want to cheat you, Mr. Hall. Like he just doesn't do life insurance. Go ahead. We have a couple minutes left. Explain to him about what you do as far as helping people plan for their futures and things that you've talked to me about, like setting monies to the side, consultations or whatnot.
Okay. Well, what I do is comprehensive financial planning. That's what I do with all of my clients. Okay. Or at least most of my clients. Comprehensive financial planning seems simple, but it's very complex when done right, and looking at all aspects of the individual, their situations, their family situations, and their business situations, looking at everything. I do the consultations for individuals and small business owners. I then do money management. So most of my business is around comprehensive financial planning, money management, and then insurance. Insurance comes into play as a part of keeping everybody on track for what needs to happen in case something happens unexpectedly. Okay. And long-term care is a part of that, because long-term care is the thing that's going to devastate most people's portfolios when they're 80 years old and don't have long-term care.
Yes, sir.
One other thing, people don't realize that 70% of the people in America today that need help don't have long-term care, and family members are taking care of them.
Okay.
It devastates a family when the daughter or son or whatever that happens. I've been in that situation. My mother had Alzheimer's for 10 years, and we had to take care of her.
Okay. Go ahead and give them the information again, Mr. Hall. Sorry, I just want people to know how important this is to reach out to you, start planning your future, whether it's money consultation, financial consultation, or long-term care, or or like we talked about for the majority of the show, life insurance. Mr. Hall, can you go ahead and give them your number and website once again?
Okay, Andrei Hall, 949-222-6401. The website is hwmg-lpl.com.
Want to thank you,
Mr. Hall. Thank you again so much. I mean, you've given me some information about, especially, I was more concerned about, people who are, like I said, are starting their career, or they have little ones at home and they don't understand that you can have life insurance early. It costs less than waiting till later, and paying a whole lot more. And life insurance is not just, it's not an investment vehicle. It's something that takes care of you just in case something happens. And it's only a matter of time. Stuff happens to everybody at some point in their life. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate your time.
Mr. Hall,
thank you for having me.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming, K-Day listeners. We'll see you next week. So every Sunday morning, 6:30 to 7 a.m. If you got in this show late, go to our YouTube page, TimeHoodieShow.com. Hey, we'll see you guys next week. Mr. Hall, once again, thank you so much, sir.
Hey, do you have valuable information that can help your community?
Okay.
And you'd like to be a guest? Hit us on our social media.
Do it now.
The Tie and Hoodie Show is sponsored by ICCLending.com. For real estate service, please go to ICCLending.com.